ladies and gentlemen, Ashanti graduate Rhetorical Class.
So, switch this right here. So good morning. So I'm really excited to be here. It may work and it may not. I planned it without it, but then this morning I was like feeling really techie, and I said, let me try and use it. So on March, okay, so that's so you can find our information. In March of last year, the Ever Forward Club was featured in a documentary called The Mask You Live In. And that documentary went to the Sundance Film Festival 2015, and then in March, we were going to have our own screening of The Mask You Live In. So went to Sundance in January, came back, started planning, and we were going to have this fundraising dinner. So on March 15th of 2015, that was the day of the event, and I was not going to go to work. I was a vice principal at Montero Middle School. I took the day off, but there was some big tour going on, so they wanted me to show up at least for the morning. So to support the team, I showed up. And while I was standing there, a young man, after the tour was over, a young man came in my office, and he said, I see you're packing up, getting ready to leave. Let me just give you this letter, and then I'll go back to class. I said, well, I don't usually get students bringing me letters, and I got a few minutes. Let me read it. So I opened this letter, and this young man had written this letter that morning, and it said, Dear Mom, Mr. Branch, and family, I'm planning to kill myself today, tomorrow, or the next day. Like, I've been studying what I'm going to do to commit suicide. Like, originally I was going to hang myself. But someone told me there's a way to do it without feeling any more pain. So I'm going to drink a bottle of Benadryl before I go to sleep. Like, I don't know about you and your journey in education, but I never planned on being a teacher. I never planned on being in education. And as I sat there with this young man across from me at the table, my heart not even knowing what the protocols are in this moment. Like maybe they taught me something in one class. Maybe there was a list of things I knew to do. I just knew that this young man was crying out. Like, I was not going to go to work that day. And my name is on the letter. Like, I had the day off. I'd already put into my principal that I'm not coming into work that day. And I showed up, and this landed on my desk. And I'm clear today, more than ever before. I'm clear on this day, more than ever before, why education called me. So I'm going to just tell you the brief story. So I was raised by my mom only. I'm a mama's boy. Like, my father died 3 months before I was born. 3 months before he died, his father died. So 6 months leading up to my birth, I lost both my grandfather and my father. Like, no one gave me a choice in the matter. Like, no one said, hey, how do you want this life thing to work out for you? Like, if they'd handed me like a checklist in the womb, I probably would have chosen things to look a little different. Maybe I would have chosen 2 parents. Maybe I would have chosen to grow up in a house instead of a broken down apartment. Maybe I would have chosen a community where being smart was okay, where it was uplifted, where it was respected. But I didn't grow up in a community like that. I grew up in Oakland, California, where being a young man, especially a young black boy, being smart is actually like something kind of strange. Now in elementary, you can kind of get away with it because you only have 25 kids all day. So you can kind of figure out how to sneak around the being smart with 25 kids. When you get to middle school, there's like 160 of them you got to see all day. You got to keep like figuring, okay, in this class, that's going to make me fun. They're going to make fun of me there. Like, you got to kind of analyze, how do I show that I know something in this atmosphere? And I was really clear that my atmosphere was not letting me be smart. So I'm going to be I don't care. I can do I don't care. At home, there was a lot of drama going on. At home, I was a lot of drama. My mama got married to this guy who was a jerk. Like, I'm thinking my life is going to be made for the better. And it gets made for the worse. Like before they got married, it was great. He would take me to wrestling. He was really cool. And the day of the wedding, we come back to the house, a little reception. I'm in my room. I'm like, what is that sound? What's going on? So I go out of my door, and I'm like peeking down the stairs, and they're having an argument. The day of the wedding. It's almost like a movie. It's almost you don't believe that the day of the wedding, the drama starts. That's when my drama started. So middle school, so what? I don't care about your classes. Do I care about your science, your history, your English? I got problems at home to worry about. And if you think, teacher, that I care more about your history than I do about my own life, you're tripping. And if you, teacher, care more about history than you do about me, I ain't got that time for you. Like our students are aware what you care about. With your body language, with your energy, with yourself, with your heart, they can feel it. They're pretty smart. They may not say it, they may not acknowledge it, they can tell. And if you care more about history or science or mathematics than you do about the subject you're teaching, I think you're going to miss something. I think the subjects are great. I love math. But I knew pretty clear that math was the catalyst just to have something to talk about. Because once I have the relationship with you, then I can talk about many things with you. But if I don't have a relationship with you, you got to earn permission to take up my brain space. You want to talk to me about a bunch of stuff? And that's how I was in middle school. And it wasn't until a teacher, Miss Bartlett Preston. Now, I'll tell you about Miss Bartlett Preston. She was my English teacher, and I loved Miss Bartlett Preston. I hated English. Loved Miss Bartlett Preston. I didn't know how her hair was always perfect. Every morning. Like, every morning. I was like, how does she do that? I was in middle school. So that's all I thought about. What else do you think about in English class? If like, what was I reading? Red fern grows. Who cares about some dogs chasing raccoons? I didn't care. Maybe you did. I personally had no care about a dog chasing a coon because, first of all, I never had a dog. Second of all, I don't live in the woods. Third of all, I don't even know what a raccoon. What do you do with raccoon skins? I'm just telling you. I was hearing the book. I just could care less. And one day she gave me detention because somebody did something to me, put a tack in my chair, and I screamed. And she's like, "You're gonna come after school." Now, let me tell you my relationship with my mom and home and school. Like, as long as I don't get a call home, I'm good. Like, just don't call my house. Like, I'm gonna just act up just enough that you be annoyed with me, but you don't call my house because then you're gonna mess up my house is already messed up. Like, I don't need you to mess it up even more. So I was just that kid. Like, whatever. This doesn't matter to me. But there's one day she said, "Come after school." I'm like, dog it. I know I gotta come because she can't be calling my house. But I'm not gonna listen. I've already decided that after school, when she talks to me, I got the corner in the room I'm gonna look at. There's a poster over there. That's what I'm focusing on. So I come in, she starts talking, she's asking me all the questions that I know the right answers to. Yes, no, yeah, I won't do that again, no. I know all the right answers. She's like, "You're not even listening." I said, "Yeah, I am." This is when I started listening. I didn't hear anything. I only heard one sentence. And the sentence started like this. "I know you're sad." And the only reason I heard it was because as a black boy in Oakland, you can't be sad. So I'm like, wait, whoa. I'm ready to rebuttal. I already got an answer for you. I ain't sad. But let me tell you what she said. She said, "I know you're sad that your father died before you were born." So I'm ready to rebuttal, but I'm listening because she's talking my business now. She's talking my stuff. She said, "But you're too smart to be acting like you're not." She said, "Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you get, and you got to make the most out of it." It's the only sentence I heard. But that sentence changed my life. Like as I walked home that day, I don't know if it was the next day or 2 days later or 3 days later, but my life changed. Like, I could always do the work. There was never an issue of could I do the work. It was the work important to me? Did I care about the work? I was angry. I was sad. I was really sad. But I couldn't show sadness. There was nobody who taught me tools on how to deal with sadness. So the next day, I come back to school a few days later, and teachers are like, what's wrong with you? You're paying attention, like you're sitting in the front, you're doing work. I'm like, yeah, what? Like, and? What are you really shocked about? It was never a problem with the work. It was a problem with my heart and my desire, and somebody seeing enough in me to recognize that I was capable of this, but I was in my own way. And so I'm gonna fast forward to high school. Get to high school, I'm focused. I'm an A student. Like I'm on track. And then I hear about this program called Upward Bound. Oh, man, there's a program that helps kids get to college. I'm like, hey, I'm going. So I fill out the paperwork. The first day I get it, turn it in. The lady calls me in the office. I'm like excited for this little interview. She's like, well, I have some bad news. You can't join Upward Bound. I'm like, what are you talking about? You take people to college? I'm going to college. Problem solved. She's like, well, this program is for first-generation college students. I'm like, that's me. I'm first generation. Nobody in my family went to college. She's like, didn't you see the part your mom filled out? Your mom went to college. I'm like, you tripping. We poor. Poor people don't go to college. And that's what she told you, right? Like, if there's no way you could be going to college. You have gone to college, and you're poor. Like, you're barely paying the rent and the PG&E in the same month. Like, many Saturday mornings, I wake up with the conversation, I hear my mom on the phone, like, negotiating, like, I'm going to pay a little bit on this and a little bit on this. Like, these are regular conversations. So I'm like, there's no way that we got into college-ness in this. And so she said, your mom's a teacher. I'm like, wait, you telling me my mom paid some money for us to be broke? So I was like, I'm going to have a talk with my mom this afternoon. And I was clear about two things that happened in the afternoon. Is that I was going to let my mom know what I thought about her career choices first. I was clear about that. And second, I wrote my own little manifesto. I didn't write it in my own paper. I had it in my head. It was like, Ashanti Branch will never, ever be a teacher. At 15 years old, I was clear that I would never, ever be a teacher. I was good at math. I'm going to be an engineer. Love science. So I go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, graduate civil engineering, go off and make some Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, love San Luis Obispo. And I come back and making money. American dream, right? Work hard, get a good job, make a lot of money, live happily ever after. Building some beautiful buildings, doing some beautiful stuff, but all I'm doing when I come home is playing video games. All I'm doing is partying on the weekends. Like, I'm feeling empty. Like, they told me that was to make me feel good. Like, this would make me feel the best. Like, you did it. Congratulations. And I'm feeling empty. Like, there's something missing. There's got to be more to my life than coming home and playing Halo. I'm living in Walnut Creek. I'm living in, like, really a fancy part of the Bay Area. I should be happy. I'm not happy. And so, let me tell you what happened next. So, our building was in this office building that had a bunch of kids downstairs always when I left work. You know, as an engineer, I come downstairs. I'm like, what's all these kids in this building? And this is in between projects, so I was in the main office as opposed to being on the job site. So one day at lunch, I said, let me walk around and see why all these kids are running around this building. Now, I come around the corner, and I go in, and I say, hey, how you doing? I was curious, why are there always kids running around in the lobby when I leave work? She said, oh, are they bothering you? I said, no, I'm just curious. So are you looking for a job? I'm like, job? I'm an engineer. I don't need no job. I can pay rent and PG&E, same month. No problem. And still go to the movies. It was no problem. She's like, no, well, we need a math tutor for SAT. We'll pay you $20 an hour. I'm like, well, shoot. I do math in my head. I'm like, $20 an hour? Let me see. I'll be playing Halo for 5 hours. That's $100 right there. That's $500 a week. Just doing nothing, you know? I was clear that it was a good idea. Good travel money. Good extra spending money. I said, sure. So I get this job, I go in, and this day, I remember which day it was, how long I had been there, a kid walked in, they said, you got a tutoring session with algebra. I'm like, no problem. I'm in Pleasanton, It's a very affluent area in the Bay Area. Not a lot of people looking like me, definitely not teaching math. So this kid, Lucas, I'll never forget Lucas, he walks around the corner, and he's like looking for his tutor. He's like, I don't see him. He's talking to the people at the front desk. I don't see him. He's like, he's over there? I'm like, come on, let's go. He's like, you? I got this. What you got? He pulls out the book. He's like multiplying polynomials. Now, for the math people in the room, you know what I'm talking about. People who don't really like math, you may not like what I'm talking about. But I love multiplying polynomials. I multiply polynomials like in the mist on the mirror in the bathroom. It's like, x minus 2 times parentheses, x plus 4, FOIL, whatever, right? So I was clear that this was going to be a good day for me. So he pulls out this problem. I said, well, can I show you a shortcut? He's like, are there shortcuts in math? I said, of course there's shortcuts in math. I show him a shortcut. I see a little light, come on his face. He said, let me try it. So he tries it. And he looks at me and says, is that the right answer? I said, I don't know if it's the right answer. Check the back of the book. So he checks the back of the book. And then I see another little light come on. I was like, he's not impressed with my little shortcut. He said, let me try that again. I'm going to try it on a harder one. I was like, be my guest. So he tries another one. And so then he looks at me and says, is that the right answer? I said, I don't know. Check the back of the book. That's what I always say. That's always my answer. I don't know. Check the back of the book. So he looks in the back of the book, and it's almost like one of these movies where the special effects happen where somebody opens the letter, and as the letter comes out, the glow from the envelope happens on their face. And so he turns the back of the book. He's like looking, you only odd numbers, odd answers. So he's like, duh, duh, duh. And then he's like, and I hear the background music. I hear the sound of like, oh. And I was like, oh no. Oh, no, no, no. No, you didn't, Lucas. You know what I felt? I felt something that said, this feels incredible. This is what you're supposed to be doing. I was like, oh, after Lucas left, I said, thank you, good job, you got this, man. I go to the front desk. I'm like, I quit. I'm not tutoring here no more. Because I was already clear at 15 that I would never be a teacher. Like, why is this calling happening to me? I want to make a lot of money. I don't want to be trying to struggle from month to month. I was 100% clear. I want to tell you, the decision to go tell the people at the front desk I was quitting was not an easy decision. But it was like, something was like, no. My heart was like saying, Ashanti, you found it. My head was like, no. We already rejected that idea. And the reason I tell you this story before we jump into the work is because I need you to know that I never planned to be a teacher. Like when teaching called me and I ran from it, I even ran from that job because I didn't want to be in that same building anymore. I ran to a more money job and it made the desire to do something different worse. And I answered. And my first day in teaching credential program, I was like, this is no problem. Like it was like, yes, just keep talking, I'll write the notes, I'll write the paper, whatever. It was clear that that's what I was supposed to be doing in my life. So, fast forward, teacher, first year, and I'm failing. Like, I got these students in my class, mostly young men of color, young African-American, Latino men, who are failing my class. And I'm like, wait a minute. I signed up to be broke. Like, I was clear that I was making a decision against my greater personal other judgments, but I signed up for that. But I wasn't going to be a failure. I didn't sign up to be a failure. I didn't sign up to take a job that my heart was telling me to do, but I'm not doing good at it. I'm not going to be in your resume and your story and your biography of this teacher who just failed you, not me. So I'll go back to make money if I don't figure this out. And that's how the Ever Forward Club started. The Ever Forward Club was not me trying to start a nonprofit. I didn't even know what a nonprofit was at that time. I know it didn't sound good. I knew that engineer, teacher, nonprofit doesn't quite fit in any plan that I made. I was clear about that. So I was trying to figure out how to help these young men learn in my class. And in these conversations, I told them, look, I said, I invited a few of them, 15 of them, to lunch one day. I said, look, I'll buy you lunch once a week. I had engineering money left over still at the time. I said, I'll buy you lunch once a week. Exchange for lunch, you teach me how to be a better teacher. Like, tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I'll fix it. I know the math. You're smart, but you're not even doing something. You're not trying. It wasn't that they couldn't figure it out. It was that their posture, their body language was like, whatever. And at that moment, I couldn't see myself in middle school. I didn't see that part of me. I saw me and them as just being like really smart. And so they were like, it's not cool to be smart at this school. Smart's not cool. So they acted in ways they felt was going to be respected by others around them. And if smart's not cool and you want to be cool, you will do whatever it takes people not to know that you're smart. I'm telling you from personal experience. I didn't read it in a book. I know how to evade people knowing that I'm smart. You want me to go up and do something on the board? You tripping. Elevating me like that. You're going to kick me out. What you going to do? If you don't, I'm going to walk out. Like I was clear on all the body things that people do to get themselves out of a situation that would somehow put them on blast, if you call it. Whether for knowing so much or not knowing enough. Either way. And so, when the Ever Forward Club started, I was just searching for answers. And so this experience that we're going to go through right now is 12 years of this work. So I want you to experience it. I want you to experience it. And if you find that what we go through is powerful and it can be powerful for your students, I want you to reach out to us. I want to encourage you not to just say, oh, that was simple enough, let me do it. I want to encourage you. Because it's not something that I just threw together looking for an activity. Like it was my journey and my life that goes into what we're going to do right now. And so, I want to ask you that if you find that it's going to be valuable for your team, for your staff, for your students, that you reach out to us. Okay. On your tables, you will see a piece of paper, white paper, and you'll see some markers. So everyone at your table should have a piece of paper and a marker. So there's some more paper coming around. Is any of the table run out? Did any of the table run out of paper? Okay, so we're almost there. Everyone has a marker? There's extra markers also in the back if you need an extra marker. Okay. So these are just some of the charter members that Ever Forward. This is that first fall when we started a new chapter. On the top, you see this thing that says "Ask a Question." For people who are really techie, this is a new feature that Google Slides has. So if you think of a comment or something while I'm talking or whatever, you can go and write a comment or a question at that address, and I'll be able to see it once we finish, and I can have them the comment. So don't feel obligated, just to tell you why that's there. So these are the young men from that first chapter. This is a new chapter at Arise High School, and then these are some young men on our college trip 2 years ago. The young man in the back, Lorenzo, he was a member of our program, and then he became a mentor, and now he's working for us as a program officer. So it's been a great journey with him. So this workshop is called Taking Off the Mask, and it's featured in the documentary, The Mask You Live In. So if you ever have a chance to see that, that was the first time I'd ever done it. And so what I want to ask you is, can someone here tell me what the purpose of a mask is? What is the purpose of a mask? Hide who you are? Disguise? Something you can hide behind? Be someone else? Someone said transforming? Transforming? Okay, thank you. So whatever your definition of a mask is, I want to say that those are all right. What I would like you to do is in this moment, I want you to just pretend that it's just you and me talking. It's not really maybe it's hard to do, but I want you to just imagine I'm talking straight to you. So it's kind of like if you do a Vipassana meditation retreat, like they'll put you in this little box and you're by yourself, even though there are other people in the room, you kind of get your own little space. So I want you to just kind of feel like you're by yourself, and I want you to keep your eyes on your own paper. A temptation would be kind of look and see what other people may want to write, and I'm going to encourage you not to do that. I want everything that comes to the paper to be just purely from your mind and your soul and your heart, without any interference by somebody else's whatever. It'll make sense later. It probably won't make sense now, but just do your best to keep your eyes focused on your own paper. What I want you to do on the front of this mask, wherever you have the front side of your paper, I want you to draw a mask. And whatever size, whatever you want to draw is yours. Draw a mask, and then once you finish, turn the mask over just so it stays somewhat to yourself. Whatever you think a mask looks like, draw that.
Send her out of the room again.
So if there are any artists in the room, you're probably going to get upset with me because I can't let you, I'm going to have to rush you. So just know it ahead of time. You may be upset with me, but you got about 20 seconds left. Artists, I just don't want to. Bless you. Okay, you can wrap up your mask. Okay, so I'm gonna just start the next part, and if you're still, drawing, you can keep doing that. But I want you to think of the mask that you drew. Just imagine it. Don't turn it over and look at it. I want you to think of the mask that you drew as a representation of you. Like, no, I'm not saying it looks like you. I'm just saying like it's a representation of you. Like it came from your mind, like to your shoulder, to your arm, elbow, to your fingers, to the pen you picked, to the paper you got. Like it's a representation of you. And so on the front of the mask, on the front side, I want you to write 3 words or phrases that represent what are the things that you let people see about you. The world, not necessarily your family. Like when you leave your house, your home, to go out to the world, what are 3 characteristics, 3 qualities you gladly let the world see about you? 3 characteristics, qualities that you gladly let the world see. Write those on the front and then turn the mask back over. Words, phrases on the front of the mask, the front of the mask. On the mask side, write those 3 words or the phrases that you let people see about you. On the mask, or anywhere on the front. However you write it is perfect. And then turn the mask back over. So those words you wrote on the front of the mask, on the mask side, and now you're looking at the back of the paper. Okay? Now, thinking about the front of the mask, like the things that when we leave our house to go out to work, to play, to sports, to activities, to whatever we do on our daily activities, these are the qualities that we gladly let people see about us. That's what's on the front of the mask. So what do you suppose I may ask you to write on the back? So I heard what we hide. Well, I want you to think of the back like this. I want you to think of the back as like a scale. Okay? Like I want you to think over here on the less maybe intense, vulnerable part of the scale is to say, well, people don't ask me about this, so I don't talk about it. Like no one brings it up to me, no one mentions it to me, I don't talk about it. That's why I don't talk about it. It's one side, right? It just doesn't come up. Or the other end of the scale says, I don't really want people to know. So I'm going to encourage you to find a spot along that spectrum and write 3 words or phrases on the back of the things you normally don't talk about. For whatever reason, you don't talk about it. From no one talks about it to me, I don't talk about it to them, or I don't talk about it because I don't talk about it. Use your scale. So you decide where in that scale you are ready. And write 3 words or phrases on the back that represent those things you normally don't talk about. And once you finish, I want you to ball the paper up. Once you write the 3 words on the back, I want you to ball the paper up. Now, I want to also encourage you for this stuff on the back not to overthink it. Do your best to just let it flow through you where you feel the comfort. And once you ball the paper up, I want you to stand up. And if you're not finished, just ball the paper up anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna need to split the room a little bit. So I got people up there, so you all are gonna have to get creative. Y'all gonna have to get creative. We'll figure out something about that. You all just gonna you may have to send a representative down in a second. So let's see. How about half becomes 3? There's 5 tables, 2.5. Like let's say boom, boom, boom. Awesome. That's the boom. See that little split, that natural split right there? Perfect. I want you to, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that these big-ass fans just started spinning super fast. Well, that's the name of the fan. I didn't actually just curse. It says big-ass fan. So just so you thought I was using profanity, I wasn't really using profanity. I was just reading what the fan said. So if one of these big fans just starts getting super cold in this room, like it's just starting to freeze, and as your eyes are closed, like this piece of paper actually is turning into a snowball in your hand. So what's going to happen when I count down from 3, 2, 1, I'm going to say, snowball fights on. And what's going to happen, if you're interested, is we're going to have an epic snowball fight. Now, let me give you a little bit of news about snowball fights. Snowball fights are meant to be fun. So if you are not the kind of person who likes fun, please don't join the snowball fight. Just saying. If in a snowball fight, you may get hit. So if you're the kind of person who can't handle being hit by a fake snowball, please don't join the snowball fight. For all the rest of you, we're totally ready for an epic snowball fight. That may be kind of hard. So we got these tables. Okay, I got to think about this. Okay, I know how it's going to work. Your eyes are going to be closed. Now, if you that are facing each other, you can't hit each other. You need to try and hit somebody back there, but your eyes are going to be closed. Yeah, see, it's got. Yeah, you don't want to hit each other in the face. Yeah, either we don't want anybody getting injured. You have insurance? Okay, no insurance. So just protect yourselves at all costs. You may want to do like one of these. Whatever you need to do, self-safety is in effect right now. So on the count of 3, I'm going to say 3, and then you all snowballs are flying that way. You alls are flying that way. Yours are flying down, and then you got to come down and retrieve one at some point. So on a count of 3, and the snowball fights are going on. 3, 2, 1, snowball fights on. I saw a few people get hit. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I did bad instructions. Okay. Well, they're going back. Okay. Well, wait. Okay. Stop. Yeah, I did that. I messed up. But it's good. So now what I need you to do is I need everybody to collect one and do not open it, but have a seat. So everyone, you may have to look under your tables. Hopefully it didn't go in anybody's coffee cup. It's going to take a minute to collect everybody. I threw it to the middle of the room and somebody threw it right back to me. Can I have one from your table? Can I have one from your table? Anyone from your table, not yours. You got one? Yeah. If you get your own, don't tell because no one knows. So just don't even say it. But everyone should have one. Make sure everyone has one. Oh, that was a nice throw. It almost made it in the oatmeal. That was a great throw. Who needs a mask? I know we have somebody missing one. Okay. If you're missing one, raise your hand so we can get you the extra one. Nice. It's coming. Good throw. Good. That was nice aerodynamics. Who else is missing one? If you're missing one, you need one. Nice. Who else needs one? Please raise your hand so we can. Anyone? I have one extra here. Who else doesn't have one? We may have lost some people in the snowball fight. Maybe they're under the table still. Does anybody need a snowball? Everyone has one? Don't open it yet. 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 Okay, so I'm going to ask for the last time, and then otherwise you'll be left out. Does anybody not have a snowball? Everyone's good? So if there's extras, I'll take it. You throw it to me. Thank you. Extras? Thank you. Any other extras? Thank you. Extras? Nice. Right. Oh, it almost made it right there. That was a good shot, man. So imagine if somebody missing one, because they can't have these extras, unless somebody made like 4 masks. I've never had this happen. I've never had like a surplus. It's not like what was it? Gremlins. They're not like little gremlins where they kind of multiply. Somehow I have like 10 masks. Okay, we'll just make it work. Make it work. Okay. I feel like I had the snowball fight. Can you all just take a deep breath with me? Take a deep breath. Okay. All right, let's get back. Okay, man. That was. Do you feel a little buzz? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. I want you to just hold this mask in your hand. We have some very anxious students, so some of you are already moving a little faster than me. I want you to treat this like a gift. Like the fact that you all showed up today, right? It means a lot. Like one of my teachers said, 98% of success is just showing up. Like you may have read a book that said 93%, 85%, 82.5%. Like, but you imagine if you don't show up, it's really hard to have success. Have any of you just had a morning where you got up and you just didn't want to show up? Whatever it was, you just said, I don't really want to show up today. Whether it's to work, or to family, or to responsibilities, or to clean the garage or the garden. Like I just don't want to show up. So the fact that you have this in your hand means that someone in here showed up. Whether it's anything on it or not, whether it's blank, whether you can read it, whether you understand it, it doesn't really matter. If you have a ball in your hand, that means somebody at least just showed up. And if we treat our students as if their demonstration of success is coming up with a perfect paper, a perfect project, a perfect report, a perfect math problem, and we don't even acknowledge the fact that they showed up. If we accept that showing up is what you're supposed to do, maybe. But if you ever had a day where you just didn't want to show up, then you can understand. So we facilitate this workshop a lot of times, and sometimes in the beginning, people will be like, well, it's blank, and they'll be getting upset, and I'm like, it's supposed to be blank. So I'm telling you this right now to just prepare you, that whatever is inside here is extra. Whether you can read it, whether you understand it, whether it makes sense to you, whether it's blank, it is exactly what it's supposed to be. Because someone showed up. So I want you to respectfully and carefully open the mask. And do not share it with anybody next to you. Just look at it for yourself. No one would have known. It meant to. It meant to. It was. So just look at it quietly. Look at it quietly. Just look at it quietly to yourself. Just take it in. Just take it in. So can I have 10 volunteers just to stand and read one word from the front of the mask? Just stand up until you just keep standing until we get 10. Just keep standing. I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, great. We'll stop there. So just read it a little loud, and I'll repeat it just so that we make sure that it carries. Just read it as loud as you possibly can, and then we'll go. Yes. But maternal. Funny. Competency. Compassion. Mood. Integrity. Humor. Confident. Positivity. Composed. Humor. Like, do you all recognize some of those qualities in the people you've been with the last 2 days? Positivity, humor, composed. Did you recognize a lot of those qualities? Some people are not sure. Some people are saying yes. You know, sometimes I go to staffs that have been working together for years, and I say, hey, do you all recognize those qualities in each other? And people are like, no. Or they won't say anything. I'm like, well, those are the ones you say that you gladly show the world. But can you imagine, like, people not getting what you think you're putting out? I'll ask it a different way. Like, has anybody ever been misunderstood? Like, you thought you were being really nice. Like, I'm actually being really nice right now. And the other end of the phone or the other person across the table is like, you're being a little rude right now. Imagine that's possible. Okay. Take a deep breath. Turn the paper over. Can I have 10 people stand and read one word from the back, please? I need a couple more if possible. Great. We'll stop right there. Great. No, you're good. No, you're good, man. You can stand. That's fine. Okay, let's start. We started on that side before. Let's start on this side. So you can go first. Undisciplined. Family. Past. Lonely. Insecurities. Lost. Scared. Trust issues. Isolated. Angry that I get taken advantage of. Elder. Thank you. Failure. Thank you. Fear. Life goals. Kids. Overwhelmed. Pain. Can you take a deep breath? don't know about you. And so I'm gonna hear from you. Is there a few people who just want to speak to like where you're at right this moment? Like what's happening in your head, your heart, your feet, your body? Like I want to hear from you.
I feel very connected to humanity. And I'm hurting a little bit. That's kind of my natural state. But I feel very connected.
I feel more overwhelmed by what was on the back.
Overwhelmed by what you read about that person? What you heard on the back. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I thought it was kind of surprising and enlightening because you read the front, and it's a lot of what you see in yourself and a lot of the same words. And it's the same on the back. Like we forget that even though we feel this way, a lot of people around us feel the same or have dealing with the same things. And it's really enlightening to feel that again.
I think every day in our classrooms with our students, we deal with the front a lot. Maybe not so much the back.
Thank you.
I think it's a powerful activity that we can do with our kids where we can get to know the backside, which is a powerful tool to get to know, but in a non-threatening way, by exchanging the papers and not having them read their own, which so many of them are fearful of sharing.
I got a blank. Oh, I'm trying to think about what does that mean? What does that say?
Did you come up with an idea about what it says? Would you be willing to share?
Not very positive.
Well, life is both. Different. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Thank you.
Vulnerability, how we try to be controlled, and this is another side that we're sharing with each other. There's no control, so just being vulnerable.
I feel like I deal with inner city youth, urban kids who are having problems. They have the same things that we have. The same thing that I try and get behind the mask a lot. Take it to the other side and see what's going on. It's these same things that I feel, we feel, and yet we put that face forward at the back of our it's the same thing. Being able to open up and let kids know that, hey, I'm going those same things. It helps me kind of get further from myself.
Yeah. So you were saying, did everyone hear what he said? He said he's seeing the back and the front not as two different things, but as one whole being, right? And I agree. And when we are in front of our classes, in front of our staffs, in front of our whoever we're having in front of us, the only part we at that moment see is what they allow us to see. So that young man who's in the corner chit-chatting and goofing off and he's on his phone under the table and he's doing all the stuff that you told him not to do 18,000 times and you're at the end of your rope and you're like, you are messing up my class because of what he's doing. And maybe what he's doing is trying to make sure that you don't see behind what he's showing. Like, what if I'm goofing off and laughing so much in your class because I'm just trying to ignore the fact that there's not a lot of other positivity happening anywhere else? What if I'm using this time to be funny and cool and talk to all my friends and feel like I'm respected and people like me and have attention on me, because anywhere else I go, no one pays attention to me? See, I think that what I want for our educators, for our young people, is to have a safe place where they can be all of themselves. I recognize that our society is not ready for everyone to be all of themselves all the time. So we have well crafted our masks on how we act in certain places. When we're in the club, we're like this. When we're with our family at the family reunion, we're maybe like this. When we're at the staff meeting, we're like this. We have our different faces of ourselves. I have my different faces of myself. And for our young men who are carrying around some stuff, like you heard those young people on the stage yesterday, 2 days ago, they told you, they said, man, it's about family. Like they see me. Like they can, like, I don't have my real parents. Like I was adopted. Like, but my teachers, they're like my parents. They see me. And so we can create as many project-based learning projects as we want. We can do as many fancy worksheets and poster presentations and things that they build. We can do all of that, which is incredible. We can't miss the heart of the matter. I believe we can't miss it. I believe that we shouldn't sacrifice the relationships for the products. Because long after you have had to get rid of that project and put it in the dumpster, that student is carrying something from you in that experience. Either they're carrying that you really cared, that they learned something, or you cared about the exhibition night that was going to make them look bad if your presentation didn't look good. I'm just saying. This work that we do in Ever Forward is about helping young people have a safe place to take their mask off, to be really clear. Man, it feels good to people to know that I'm dealing with something. And man, I didn't know you were dealing with stuff. What? You, young people after workshop after workshop, over 7,000 people who went through the workshop last year. Most of the young people said, I didn't know this about anybody in this space. I didn't know anybody else here was dealing with anything. I thought I was the only one. Last night, I went to Barrio Logan, which is that one of these ways, somewhere that way over there. And I met with the young men from El Círculo, Barrio Logan College Initiative. And these young men in the circle who've been meeting for over a year together went through this workshop. Like hearts opening. After a year together meeting, these young people were like, I didn't know any of this. It's about giving permission. How do we give ourselves permission to be human? Like maybe you learned in teacher ed program or teacher training or whatever training you had that you take your problems and put them in the glove box, and then you go into your classroom and you pick up the problems on the way back home. So you go into front of your class and you're perfect, right? Hello, class. How are you doing? Such a great day today. How are you? We're all great, aren't we? Everything's so great. And they're looking at you like, where do you live? I'm going to come live there because where I was at didn't quite look like that. And to know that we can see when our students are dealing with something, and we can take a minute. Hey, you doing all right? I noticed something. You got a question? Can I help you with something? To know that they're seen. One of the students over here said, I feel like I'm seen, like they see me. Like they see me. Even if I'm a wreck inside, is what she said. It's relationships. And so, that's already, the password is going to come up. So I want to tell you, this workshop that we've done, I'm going to just tell you these two data points in workshops we've done in the last year. When we do this workshop with adults, most of the adults, oh, it's still there. Okay, wait, great. Most of the adults, I got to show you that too. So let me do this first. I'm going to come to this right here. So this is adults. Most adults, when they have a mask that says that they're happy, I'm going to just focus on the happy. So for the adults who said, I show the world that I'm happy, 7 out of 10 of them actually on the back say they're sad, afraid, and stressed. I show the world that I'm happy, but really, the stuff I don't talk about, I don't have a place to talk about, the place I don't usually talk about is the fact that I'm sad, in this order, afraid, and stressed. Adults who've had a lot of time practicing our stuff, had a lot of time practicing being in control of our stuff. They recognize that we are also carrying stuff. Now, for teenagers, when we do the workshop with teenagers who on the outside say, I'm happy. I show the world that I'm happy. Over 9 out of 10 of them say, actually, the stuff I don't get to talk about is being sad, afraid, and stressed. And so I want you to know that you as educators, whether you're in an administrator role, whether you're right in front of the students, like you have a part to play. Like one of the teachers said yesterday at lunch, like I can't see every student. I can't have a deep, deep dive relationship with every student. But are you missing any relationship? Are you missing the students who are trying to call out to you? They're trying for you to get you to see them. Maybe they do it because they're in the back of the corner chit-chatting and playing around. Maybe they do it another way. Maybe they just don't show up and hope that you're going to call them. Or I don't know what the symptoms are in your community. You know what they are. You know what the behaviors are. And you know sometimes negative attention that's good enough for some people. Okay. Where time are we at? Okay. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to leave it time for questions. So I'm going to show you this trailer to the documentary so that you can, maybe you've seen it, but...
Stop crying.
Stop with the tears.
Don't cry. Pick yourself up.
Stop with the emotion.
Don't be a pussy. Don't let nobody disrespect you.
Be cool and be kind of a dick.
Always keep your mouth shut.
Nobody likes a tattletale.
Bros come before hoes.
Don't let your woman run your life.
You bitch.
What a fag. Get laid. Do something.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Grow some balls.
The 3 most destructive words that every man receives when he's a boy is when he's told to be a man.
We've constructed an idea of masculinity in the United States that doesn't give young boys a way to feel secure in their masculinity, so we make them go prove it all the time.
Within their peer group culture, each of them is posturing based on how the other boys are posturing, and what they end up missing is what they each really want, which is just that closeness.
In good times, guys are like really close to each other, but when things get a little bit worse, you're on your own.
From middle school, I had 4 really close friends. Once I kind of went into high school, I struggle finding people I can talk to because I feel like I'm not supposed to get help.
Our kids get up every morning. They have to prepare their mask for how they're going to walk to school. A lot of our students don't know how to take the mask off. What is it you don't let people see? Almost 90% of you had pain and anger on the back of that paper.
If you never cry, then you have all these feelings stuffed up inside of you, and then you can't get them out.
They really buy into a culture that doesn't value what we've feminized. If we're in a culture that doesn't value caring, doesn't value relationships, doesn't value empathy, you are going to have boys and girls, men and women go crazy.
I had anger issues in high school. I felt like an outcast.
I've been suspended at least once every year I was here.
We would just look for trouble and just like try to fight.
Boys are more likely to act out. They're more likely to become aggressive. Most people miss that as depression or see it as a conduct disorder or just a bad kid.
I felt like just giving up on life. You know, I actually had suicide thoughts in my head at 6th grade.
I felt alone for a long time, and I actually thought about killing myself.
Whether it's homicidal violence or suicidal violence, people resort to such desperate behavior only when they are feeling shamed and humiliated or feel they would be if they didn't prove that they were real men.
If you're told from day one, don't let nobody disrespect you, and this is the way you handle it as a man, respect is linked to violence.
If I can man up, why step down from that, you feel me?
It's like instinct.
So man up. Man up.
Man up.
Man up. Pull some fucking balls.
Act like a man.
Be a man.
Be a man.
For my kids, I was gonna end this hyper-masculine narrative here.
So that documentary came out last year, 2015, and has really helped us to be able to get the word out more. So our work primarily is with young men. We do workshops all over the country for co-ed, for teachers, for groups, depending. But our primary work, our clubs, our space, because I believe our young men are in crisis. In so many ways, I think our young men are just trying to figure it out, and they've learned coping mechanisms. That's violence, if it's drugs, if it's rampant, unprotected sex, if it's making babies to make them feel like they're powerful, but then don't want to be there to take, like so many things. You probably have names in your community of what the men and young men are doing, and that's our work. And so I want to go back to the young man that day, March 15, 2015. So after he went away, I told him that day, I said, this is going to be a rough day for you, but I'll be here as long as I need to be here. And I was almost late to the screening of the documentary. He went away for a couple of weeks. He made it back to school, and we checked in, as often as he wanted to check in. And one day, it was toward the end of the year, I got a call on the radio that this student was waiting for me in my office. I'm like, okay, I head back to my office. He's not there. I'm like, where is he? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, you said he was here. Where is he? And I don't know. So I go on this campus-wide search looking for him because my heart is like pounding. My heart is like, where is he? Where is he? So I see him at the PE area, and then he sees me, and he takes off running. Now, if you're a vice principal at a middle school, and you start chasing a kid, I forgot that everybody will pay attention. I just wasn't, my mind was thinking about him. I really didn't see anybody else. I just saw him. So I started chasing him across the field, and I get close, I get his jacket, and he pulls out of his jacket, and I'm left with his jacket only, and I can't run anymore after that. I'm like, all right, you want your jacket back, you're going to have to come to my office. And he's laughing, and he's running from me, so I'm just going to assume that everything's okay for that moment. So I go back to my office, and then he catches up with me, and he hands me a note, and I said, let's go to my office. And he said, no, it's okay. He says, it's okay. So I'm like, I run to my office anyway and read it. I went to sleep again. It's sleepy. And this is the letter. Thank you, letter, for Mr. Branch. Dear Mr. Branch, I want to thank you for being there for me. If it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I look forward to seeing you next year, because I'm going to need somebody to share how I'm feeling. And you is one of those people I can talk to. And I want to thank that for you. And so I want you to know that in this work, I never came to this work for how it was going to make me look. I knew I came to this work for how it made me feel. Even against judgment of my family and people who are like, what are you doing? Like, you're an engineer. What are you talking about? And this letter proves to me that I made the right choice. Like I never, ever had an intention of being at school that day. I never, ever wanted to be in this profession, but I was called to it. And hopefully as you continue to do the work, hopefully that you're called to do, that even when the days are going long and you're ignored by the people and you're frustrated by the students, that you recognize that you just keep holding on. Keep showing up, even when you get those mornings where you're like, I don't want to show up. And when you're at the place where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, don't do it anymore. This profession is too important to have people just hanging on. So if you're annoyed by it, if you're frustrated by it, please find that thing that's going to fire you up, that's going to get you out of bed and get you excited about life and about your journey. I'm going to tell you the quote. It says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. Howard Thurman, that was his name. And so hopefully what you're doing every day, when you came out here to beautiful San Diego, you came here to become more alive, to take it back to your students and back to your communities so that you can be a part of helping our young people who not all want to take their life, but all want to be seen. All want to know that they're important and valued. And thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me have this time with you today. Thank you.